Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Kim here, and today is my day on the Masterboard Madness. Masterboard Madness is 31 days of Masterboard inspiration from some of your favorite YouTube channels and creators. And this collaboration was set up by or hosted by our fearless leader, Hazel Designs. Some of you know her through my channel, and for those of you coming to my channel for the first time, maybe because of Masterboard Madness, welcome to the channel. And you probably know Hazel or some of her people that are participating in this collaboration. So I'm here to show you my take on Masterboards in this fun madness, and I've already watched a few of the videos and they have been fabulous. So yeah, some big shoes to fill here. And to be honest with you, I had this fabulous idea for a masterboard that I was going to show you, and you know what, I didn't write it down. It went in one ear and out the other, and it is gone. I have no idea what it was. I racked my brains. I've been telling some of the other people that I have no clue. I have no clue what it was I was going to do. But out of necessity comes new invention, right? So I came up with Plan B. So I will be showing you my Plan B shortly. So it is 31 days of Masterboard inspiration, and on the first day, Hazel kicks it off with an introduction to Masterboards. And then the rest of the month is a collaboration of 30 different YouTubers who are creating. I'm not going to go through the list. I will include the list down below in the description. And all the links to their channels and the dates that they are participating will be on that list. So you can either go backtrack and see the ones right from the beginning and then keep going after that. You know, you can have a binge day. You know, the weekend is upon us now. So you could have a binge day where you watch a whole bunch of these, which is what I'm going to do. So it started out on March 1st. We are now at March 9th. I am pre-filming this, so but it, you know, you will see it on March 9th or maybe on the 8th, very, very late at night. So to just go over this Masterboards for me, what Masterboards for me is. It's a collection and a compilation of collage where I'm using a variety of scrap papers, whether it be scrapbook paper or gift wrap or book pages, washi tape, stickers, labels, images, all kinds of things to create some fun ephemera for your journals. Now I'm going to show you a couple of my books so you get an idea of how I do these Masterboards. So I'm just going to quickly show you because I really want to spend time showing a project for today. So I have this magazine, and this is where I have some finished Masterboards. And so this has these butterfly designs with book page on the back. And when I cut this up, I will cut it up into, you know, pieces to use to make journaling cards or tags, a variety of different ephemera pieces. Now, when I do them, I also collage the back side of it so that it is finished. And it's fun when you put all these different bits and pieces of papers on here. And so when you cut it up, there's just different colors, but it's fully usable to write on. So my Masterboards, well, here's another back. Now this is an interesting back because I had some colored papers here. And so my Masterboards do start out with a variety of book pages, and then I start adding some images here and there, and I just keep building on it. So this book is kind of ongoing, and I will keep adding little things. And if you're working, I don't know about you, but sometimes I have this one little butterfly that will sit on my desk, and I will move it over and I will move it over because I'm going to use it for something. I'm going to do something with it. And then finally I just get fed up and I come into my book here and I glue it down on a page, which you'll see this happens more often than not. Now on this page here, I'm still working on the back of this, but I'm using strips, which are the edges of book pages. And so as I had them, I glued them down to get them, one, out of my way and to slowly cover the back on this. But on the front, it's got book pages. And all of these will get built on even further as I go along. So here I did some ink stamping on this book page. Again, here I'm using some brown paper bags to make the back side finished, and some coffee stain paper, some lined papers, just odds and ends, whatever I have on my desk. You know, I usually let it pile up for a little bit, and then I come and I play in these books and just have a day of fun. So here I was doing some ink stamping tests. I found the word piano. I like that in there. And then this is somebody's signature here in this book. H.F. Hall from Rossi. So I just, you know, work on them, and then when I have a chance to add the other things, I do. And so here I have a little pile of goodies that I will eventually add onto these pages. And some flower wrapping paper. I think this came from you, Thelma. And I will fussy cut these flowers out and glue them onto the page, which is why they're sitting in here. So here now you'll see more that are finished, where I've added birds and labels and other collage bits. Some napkin here down at the bottom. I hope you can see that. And this one's got more napkins on it. There are a few little collage bits, including this lovely lady here. This one's got birds. And I do eventually cut these up, but because this book is ongoing, I kind of like to leave them all in here until I'm finished the book. And when I finish the book, a lot of times then I cut them up right away, or they go into this next binder that I'm going to show you. Now this one is a work in progress. I just had the word Rocky Mountain. I don't know why I kept it on there with all of this going on in the background. This is some handmade paper and some cork. I just cut it up. Very geometric looking at this point, but I think I will start to add some, you know, something foresty and leafy to make it look like more like a Rocky Mountain, I guess, like a mountain image. Again, here, very geometric, but I was using up bits of strips and pieces to fill it in, just carrying on with the same color combination. Here is, and I think I've shown you these before, because I have this one done in the golds and the blacks and grays, and I still have this sheet of images that I found in my stash that I thought I would use to further enhance this piece eventually. And then that gets to the other ones that are up at the front here. So then, when I do finish a magazine, and sometimes I don't work in a magazine, sometimes I just work on individual pages, which is what I'm going to do today. So here's an individual page. Again, just using up some napkins, some images that I had on the table, and you know, a little embellishment here. And this one is done on cardstock, so I don't really have to cover the back of it. Just waiting for it to be cut up. Same with this one, just a collage of bits and pieces and some plain background paper on the back. And no paper is sacred. You know, if I have something that's printed on one side and it's white on the other, I will cut it up to use for backings, or I will use it as the base for making my collage boards on. So here's this one, plain back again. This one just has pieces of napkin done in shades of blue. It's on lined paper, but it's still pretty thin, so I'm still undecided as to whether or not I will put something on the back of it. But I haven't worked much on this piece. This one is all done with book page edges again, and it's done on a brown paper bag. So no papers are sacred. These are just different collages that I've either started on individual sheets, and they just sit in here until I either have more stuff to put on them or until I decide I want to cut them up. Yeah, there's some. Now this one's got a heavy duty embellishment here, so I have to look for the right place to put something like that, because it's quite a thick embellishment. And these ones are not finished on the back. So again, it depends on what I'm going to use them for. Sometimes I will cut these into manageable pieces and maybe back them with a complementary color of cardstock to make a tag. And these are things that I can let sit and play as I need them. So sometimes I'll come to these Masterboards and find one that I like and then pull that sheet and work with it in a journal that I'm working on. And in this case here, I hope you can see these. Yeah, these are all dimensional stickers, and I think I just wanted to clear the board, so that was getting them off my desk and onto something, and then I would now cut them up as I want to, but it got this sticker sheet off my desk. Fish, lots of fish, and just different bits and pieces. This was some bingo cards and some images I had left over. Just fun pieces to play with. These were some fairies. Somebody had given me these fairies at one time or another. I don't remember, but I just added them on with this butterfly collage. And so on and so on. Now these ones are fun because I have my name on here. Kim. There are a few sheets like this. Yeah, I'm not sure where they are, but I have a few sheets like this, and that's because every time Thelma sends me something, she always writes my name in a different kind of font. And so I always cut them up and put them in my collages, and then I make something to go back to her that has my name on it. So it's just my way of having fun with her. This one I love, just a mix of different purple things, and it was just bits and pieces and stickers that I used up. Shades of blue, more Kim. Yeah, there's another Kim. So eventually Thelma will get these back one way or another. And yeah, just goes on and on. So there's that book. And then there's my little mini book. This is a date calendar that's past its prime. I don't know what year it was. Oh, here, 2018. And it has still tons of pages that aren't done. But this is the one that I really use to clear off the scraps on my desk. It sits in my rolling cart. And when I have that one little piece like this and it needs a home, this is where it comes. And I will just flip through the pages and find a spot for it. Or I will pin it into here with a paper clip. And then when I'm working on here, I will use the different colors as I need them. Excuse me. So I have it written down here. I've got 22 pages done of 72 pages. So it'll be a while before I fill this book. This is an example here where I've done the background in just strips of scrapbook paper, like sort of like washi style size. When I get too much of something, I will come to the book and glue them all in here and then leave it to sit. And sometimes I color coordinate them, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's just get it off my desk. And then these are all labels off of thread spools. So if they peel off nicely off my spool, then I have to do something with them. So obviously I filled or emptied a few thread spools and added those in there. There's the back again, and it doesn't matter which side I do them from, but it's all done and ready. So I could technically pull this out of the book, cut it into the size I want, and further embellish it to use in my journals, whether I make tags or journal cards. So and now this one is partially done. The back is done completely, but still has room here. As you can see, there's the dates on here. But this is done sort of in shades of burgundy, so I will keep adding things on here as I come across stuff. And just I'm just going to flip through them fast for you to see. There's that one butterfly that sat on my desk for a while. I think that's the one. And so this one is done in shades of pink. So if I have some little thing that's done in pink and I'm looking for a home for it, then it gets plunked down here. I don't often theme them that much. See, here's another one of those thread spool stickers, and you know, there's some stamps, but it's in shades of blue. This was 2 die cuts done out of paper, and they were so flimsy and they were curling up, and I just said, okay, come here and find a page. So I did, and this is where they got put. Just little bits and pieces. This was from a book cover, a book jacket that was in really rough shape. And the green years, I just thought it was kind of fitting to put some green papers. Just little bits and pieces. So again, when I find that this is either the book is full or I need a page, I will just tear it out of the book and use it. And Hazel did mention, and it's true, some of my collages I have a hard time to part with because I really like them. And Hazel said she's got many that she can't part with because she's worked so hard on them and wants to keep them and just look at them and touch them and stuff, pet them. And so here I just have a few pieces stuck in here, and sometimes I will pile a whole bunch of stuff up here, and then I will take this book upstairs with a glue stick and sit and watch TV and glue all those papers in. So that's kind of what I use this for, and it's the perfect size. It will make 2 nice journal cards or 2 nice tags or a couple of snippets or clusters or anything like that. So this is fun to work out of as well, although I don't know how many pages I've taken. I don't think I've taken any out of this one, but it's the other ones that I work until they're done. So if you're out and about and you're thrifting and you find an old date book like this, great way to use up your scraps. So I'm not going to go into super detail of making collages because by now you've probably watched a few. So I work out of magazine pages where I work on one side where I do the design, and then I turn it over, and on the back side I use plain paper to do the backs. But I also use pieces of junk mail that come in the mail, just like this. I use things that are printed on one side. Maybe I was printing something on the computer and it didn't print that nicely, or this is just an old paper that had some writing on it. Again, this is something that I used through the printer, printed on both sides, but it's anything that I want, so it becomes what I pile up to use for collage. And I go through a lot of these, which you will see. So I don't mind if I have a little stack of these set aside somewhere. This came from TD Bank, giving us all the information of credit card, what their new rates are going to be. We don't even have this credit card anymore. And so I keep these papers, and when I have the need to do some collage, that's what I work on. Same with brown paper bags. Now this has a little bit of writing on it, so I can collage on the one side. Oh no, I used it. I went through the printer. So I can collage on this side and then cover the back with plain paper as well. So this just gives you an idea of the kinds of papers that I will use to make my collages. So I'm just going to pull one out for now. And then it comes the papers. I use book pages for the most part. I will use scrap paper, scrapbook paper, wrapping paper, wallpaper, all those different types of paper. And as you watch a lot of these videos, you will see a lot of different types of paper. You're also going to see some people do mixed media on there where they're using paints and embossing and texture paste and stenciling and inking. All different kinds of things. And so my method that I'm showing you today is not something new. It's just another way that I would use up and what I would make with these masterboards when they're done. So when I start out, I have full-size book pages, and I will tear off these rough edges here. I'm just going to tear it from this side, only because I don't like that scrappy looking edge. And it could be cut off as well. And then I just take a couple pages at a time and cut them into manageable pieces. Now, I am using books from the 1800s. I'm using books that were or pages from dictionaries, index books, all kinds of things. And I'll just show you a quick review of the books that I have here. Just a little textbook, a study book that is quite aged looking. I don't think it's very old. I've already used up the cover and something. So these are just pages that are left over that I'm using for the collage. This one was it's a religious book, but it's in German. It's from 1912. Originally 1880 was the original publishing copyright. And it's just, you know, I love the font. I love the old pages. I love the color. And so I just cut this up in pieces. The only thing I didn't like about this book is it had a lot of really cruddy dust. So this is something I would recommend you take apart outside, because you're breathing in that dust, and it's chemicals from the early 1900s. So always do this stuff in a well-ventilated area if you're taking apart a book that you don't know what all that crud is. So that was the only downfall on this book. And I have pages out here, but I will eventually use the cover for making a journal. But I will use all of this. When people tell me that they send their book guts to the recycling bin, I don't understand why, because I can never, I'll always use up the pages from the book just as much as I use the book covers. Another German book. This one isn't that old either, but again, I just like the font. I like the size of the font. I like the color, and this one has a lot of numbers. I guess they're different hymns. And so I like the numbers that I can use them in my journal or in my collages as well. So I've got those kinds of papers on the table here. And I'm not going to go into big detail of how I cover because I've got some already done. So I just use a glue stick and my papers. Oh, I left this glue stick. Oh, I'm going to use a different one. I'll fix that one after. Now, you're going to ask me where these glue sticks come from. They do come from Flamazon, and I am currently boycotting Flamazon. So, that's right, no pesos for Bezos is what I always say. And so, you know where to find them if you're not boycotting them, but if you are, then, you know, any glue stick. I just happen to have a good pile of them until I source out another supplier. But I'm just putting glue on them, overlapping them. I don't worry about the direction that they're going. Some people do. I don't. And you don't have to use any particular size. In this case here, I'm just going to use this one. And I do get my glue going right to the edge. And I've said this so often now, but every glue stick comes with a tool that is the cap. This is a great tool for pressing your paper down into the page and spreading out any little glue lumps that might be on the paper. Now here I don't need very much, so I'm just going to overlap it a little bit. Tear it with my tearing ruler. And put my glue on. Now when I'm gluing these, I do go a little bit over the edge, and then I do come along with my scissors and trim back whatever was sticking out. Only because when I go to put the backs on, then I can see where the edge of the paper is. And this just makes it easier for when you go to cut these up to use for masterboards or use for ephemera. I'm just trimming those edges, and I will keep going with my pages, and I just kind of put them all over and sort of do a rotation loosely. I don't follow it perfectly. Now this paper that I'm gluing on is just a National Geographic magazine. I got a whole bunch of these from Jen recently. Thank you, Jen. And I don't follow, like sometimes I go along the edge and come around. Sometimes I just work on it in bits and pieces, and that's the same one, so I'm just gonna, not that it really matters. I'm going to use this piece here. Now, I like to not leave myself with too many holes to fill in afterwards, so I'd rather fill that spot in than leave it till the end. And I have been working on this particular paper here for gluing since yesterday. So I'm going to now take the page, because I don't waste anything. And I'm going to fold it in half and continue to use it in this folded state. But I will first put a little bit of glue inside to glue it down. Not perfectly, just a little bit. And then I will continue working. Now, as I said, I'm not going to bother to fill in this whole page. I will show you some finished ones, but if this were done on the other side or on the in full, then I would turn it over and start to add some plain papers. And when I say plain papers, I keep a container with pieces of paper that are just small pieces. This is just some brown paper bags. Some ledger paper that was left over from a project, and I have an old calendar here. You know, I don't necessarily want to use these pictures in my collage, but the back side is great for cutting up to use for the backs on my masterboards. So I just again tear it into manageable pieces. You could glue this. You could glue 2 pieces onto here and call it done. If you want to. I mean, it really doesn't matter either way. And so now I will just add this on top. Now, I am doing white on white, but I want to fully cover this because it's paper. So I do want to have the paper, the front, and the back to be 3 complete layers. Does that make sense? Am I saying that right? And also when I'm doing these, I don't mind if the book pages have margins on the side. Sometimes I trim them away if I want just writing, but that's, you know, again, a personal preference to whatever it is I'm doing. And here, this one. Now this one's got kind of a scruffy edge there. I think I'm just going to trim it off with my scissors. It's a little bit crusty. Does that make sense? Must have come off of a pad and there's like some glue or something left over. And so I will continue to fill the board until it's done. Now you could do this with scrapbook paper you don't like, with cardstock. You could cut up brown paper bags, wrapping paper, whatever you have that is blank to use, or if you're creating a design, there are no rules or limits. And so I will continue to fill this in as well. Till it's done. And I thought about doing it fast forward, but you've seen it all already by now, and it's just gluing. So once I put this last piece on here, I'm just going to cover an overlap just slightly on that one, and you can kind of see where I'm going. So eventually this one will be finished, probably off camera afterwards. So I'm going to close up this glue, and I'm going to show you, a couple things. No, I'm going to reopen this glue. When this gets to the point where it's so sticky that I can't use it, I again fold it one more time, just inside the original fold line from that one. And then I open it up and glue it down, or put glue down. Not again perfectly, just a little bit of glue, just enough to hold it in place. And I glue that down to a quarter size page. And I will still even work on this one, but for the sake of this video, I'm not going to. And I will take a full book page. Let me just grab one here. And I'm going to put glue on this. And glue it down so there's a little bit of a margin on the four sides. And I really just put enough glue to hold it in place. And I'm going to take off this little rough edge, only because it's again crumbly and it cuts into the glue a little bit. So I don't waste anything. And then I'm going to cut out these corners by just kind of cutting across so that just a little bit is showing from the corner. You see what I mean? Just a slight little bit. And then I'm going to take my glue stick and fold these flaps back. And this is how I use up these glue pages and another book page and not send them to the landfill. And yes, I do almost, I would have to say 99.9%. The only time I won't do one is maybe the paper is just too flimsy or too crumbly to not finish it properly. And I will then, now this one is going to be a perfect fit. And I've got one piece of paper. I do these as well in multiple pieces of paper along the back, but this is a perfect size. And taking my glue stick cap, smooth out the back, and I have an instant journal card that is waiting for me to embellish it further, so I can add, you know, I say it often, a bird, a butterfly, a flower, a label, some ink stamping, and a little bit of distress inking along the edge, and you have an instant journal card. And so I just pile them up until I have a day where I want to decorate a bunch of them, and I do. I have a bunch of them sitting here, and they will get decorated as I need to. And this was just a bigger magazine that I worked out of, but I will continue to pile these up, and they're just additional journal cards waiting for me to finish them and embellish them further. So that is what I do with all of my glue papers when I'm gluing. So that is one of my tips that I'm going to give you today. The other tip I'm going to give you is my one piece of advice when you are making masterboards. No one else is going to tell you this. You are learning from me, and I went to the school of hard knocks to learn this. Just remember that. The only advice that I can give you is when you are doing multiple masterboards and you're gluing and you're using glue sticks, you think your hands are dry. You know, it might be a little bit sticky, but you think your hands are dry and clean. And my recommendation to you is before you go to the restroom, the washroom, the bathroom, whatever you want to call it, to sit down, I strongly suggest you thoroughly wash your hands and dry them first. again, School of Hard Knocks. Because if you don't, that one tiny, tiny little piece of stickiness, it could be the size of a pinhead. It will connect with the toilet paper when you are sitting there, and it causes a disaster. That's all I'm going to tell you. And if you don't listen to that one little bit of advice and wash your hands and dry them thoroughly before you sit down, you will hear me in the background saying, "I told you so." And I will be in your head telling you. So always make sure you wash your hands before you go to the bathroom. In this case, well, and after too, of course, but before you go. Just one bit of advice there. Learn from someone who's experienced it. Anyway, that is my advice for masterboards. Now, I have already made a bunch of these because I need a bunch. I need a bunch for a project that I'm working on. So these were all ones that I did yesterday, and some of them were done on loose leaf paper, which is a little bit smaller, and then regular 8.5 by 11 pages. So they are finished with the book page, just like you saw me do on the one side, and then it's got paper on the back. So here's another one, and so on and so on. So here I've got some ledger and some of that yellow paper, more brown paper bags. And it's always quite interesting when these get cut up as to what they look like on the back side. Now this is a brown paper bag, and it is heavy enough and thick enough that all I did was the collage on the front. But it has a really good size weight to it, and that is definitely a good writing space, so I don't have to recover it. So always check with how it's going to work out for you. Maybe you're working on cardstock and it's plain on the back and you can write on it, and whatever thickness it is that you need. So my next step is to show you what do I do with this. So I'm going to move some of this paper out of the way. And then I'm going to take a couple of these boards. And I'm working with a specific size. Now, normally I would just cut this into 4 pieces. I love these the most for making journal cards. And on an 8.5 by 11, it means that it's 4 1/4 wide and it's 5.5 inches long. So I know that standard size. It's always a size I love to work with. So more often than not, these become journal cards. And I know I'm going to get 4 out of here right away. On very rare occasion, I will use them to make tags. And then I usually make 3 across, like 3 different tags, and then 1 larger one at the bottom or 2 smaller journal cards. But it's a personal preference. And usually when I'm working, I kind of keep that in mind when I start collaging on top, because I kind of know where I want these clusters of images to be. But for this video and for the project that I'm going to work on, I'm going to cut these down to 3.5 inches wide. So I will be left with a strip, and I'll talk about that after, but they're going to be 3.5 inches wide and then still cut into 4. So I think I'll have a 1-inch strip here at the end, which again, we'll talk about afterwards. But I'm going to stop the camera and go and cut those and come right back. I'll be right back. And I'm back. So here I have cut up the 4 pieces. I could put them back together and show you how it looked, but I'm not going to bother. They are all from the same board. And when you turn them over, you can see now how they look patched together, but it's kind of adding some interest in it as well. And just a fun way to cut them up and not know what the backs are going to look like and how they're going to be used. Like this one would be a great one to use where you might want to do some labeling of, or bullet journaling where you're saying something and maybe having little titles. There's lots of different ways that you could use that. And to me, it just adds interest to your project when you have that kind of a look to it. And you never know what you're going to get. Now, some people, when they make master boards and they're all completely finished, they then turn them over and cut them up so they don't know what they're going to get with the finished results. But because we're doing the finishing now or this way, it's a little bit different. And I like to work with these like this as well. I could easily cut this into a tag shape and use it as a tag. It's 3.5 inches by 5.5 inches tall, which is a very nice size for tags as well. But for this, we're making journal cards. Well, sort of. And then this piece here that was left over, it is the 1.5 inch wide strip because 3.5 and 3.5 is 7, so it runs along the page like this. And so this can be used for belly bands, for making clusters, all kinds of little projects as well, or skinny tags, bookmarks. So this will just get set aside to use another day. So my concentration is on these, but we're only going to work with 2, only because we don't have a lot of time. So this is just a project that I've come up with to do that I need quite a few pieces, which is why I made all those boards yesterday. And so I figured I would take you along so you see the journey of what it is I'm doing. It's a bit of a mass make, but it even though it's a mass make, they still turn out a little bit different each time. So the first thing I'm going to do is round corner the edges, just a personal preference. You could also just cut the little corners, or you could leave it square, or you could use another decorative type of edge, whatever you have or whatever you want. But for me, I just want the round corners. And I have a couple of leaf ink stamps here. If you've been watching some of my videos, I've been working on a set of 16 woodland style of journals. Some of them will be fairy, some of them will be woodlands. I also have a few sort of witch images and stuff. And I'm looking for a piece in particular. I don't know where I put it. Oh, okay. So I have here 2 ink stamps, both leaves, and a green inker, which, you know, it's been fun is I'm reminded lately of different things that I haven't been using, and so I'm using them today. Now I cannot, where is my piece of foam? Oh, here it is. Okay. Only because a piece of foam underneath here just helps the images to come out a little bit better. So I'm not an ink stamper, and I've said this many times before. I use it as background noise, which is what all of this is. It's just background noise. It's not the main part of my project that I'm working on. So I ink stamp willy-nilly. I don't worry if it's perfect. I'm just creating a little bit of interest in the back. 90% of this you're not even going to see when I'm done. Switch this one out. Don't often clean my stamps in between either. I know you're supposed to wait for like, what, 3 to 5 seconds or something to make sure your image turns out, but you can see I'm turning it every which direction. I'm not really stamping the whole leaf on here. Oh, well, that did turn out though, eh? Maybe I should listen to that rule. And this is Tim Holtz Distress Ink, but I don't guarantee it's the same color that it started out because I use inkers from whatever I have in it. Sometimes I look at this cover and I go to use the actual ink pad and it's like, that's not the same color. I wonder how that happened. Until the page is sort of full, and then I'm just going to put one of these in the center. I'm going to set this one aside and do the same thing on this one because we are mass producing. One, two, three. I'm trying to do these so that it doesn't take a long time to do them. For the sake of this video, I don't want it to run too long, but I want to create a fun project. I hope you guys will like this. And now going to this one, Same thing. I'm just going to 1, 2, 3. How did it turn out? Not bad. But I find that in the last little while, I've been using more products that have been sitting for so long, and then watching all of these videos from the other channels, I find it's like, oh yeah, I should get that out. I haven't played with those for a while. Like one of the girls was doing some embossing, and my texture paste is, I just checked one the other day and it was all dried up, but I have several other jars of texture paste that I said, I gotta use this stuff up before it goes dry on me. Okay, so all I did was I put some green stamping on here so you can see already the difference in this. And then I have a package, because I'm working with woodland stuff. I have a package here of mushrooms. I'm not a real big mushroom fan. I'm not, I mean, I've done other woodlands journals, but I think by the time I'm finished these 16, I will be done. And so, Brenda, any mushrooms that I have left over are coming to you. I have a few packages of these mushrooms, and that's a story in itself. A friend of mine went to purchase some mushrooms, and I think she ordered 2 packages of mushrooms, and they come, I think there's like 200 pieces or 100 pieces. Maybe it's 100 pieces in a package. It doesn't say on here, but it's a lot. So she ordered 2 packages and paid for them. And when the order came, she got 2 cases of them. She had over 100 packages of these mushrooms. So when I went to one of my scrapbooking events, we all got a couple packages to go home. So Brenda, yeah, you're getting some mushrooms. So all I'm going to do is take a couple of these. I want something a little bit more colorful, I think. Yeah, something like that. And I hope you can see all these on the table here. I want something a little bit larger. I've done a few of these already, and you'll get to see them all. And I'm just taking these stickers now. Maybe. And I'm putting them in the center, and there is a reason. Not perfectly in the center. And this can be done, this style, what I'm doing here, can be done with anything, depending, you know, maybe you have a fairy that you want to put on here, or maybe you have flowers, but I'm just putting them in the center. Oh boy. And then I want a few small ones. Okay, like that one. Like that one. Sorry that you have to watch me do all of this, but and 4. Okay, so these are just smaller ones that I'm going to use now. And I'm going to put them sort of in the 4 corners. And I know you might think, oh my gosh, what is she doing? And you can see now that it really doesn't matter which direction my book pages were going on. Or going on. That's not a word. Going or a sentence. yeah, my book pages were all different directions, so, and it really doesn't matter by the time you're finished. Okay, so I've got 4 in that corner. And I'll just quickly do these ones. Now, normally I like to put a little bit of extra glue stick. Oops, I had this. A little bit of extra glue stick underneath these, but they are sticking really, really well. And it could be the combination of the old book pages that it's sticking to, the old paper, and the fact that maybe these stickers are just very, very sticky. I don't work with them that often, but they seem very, very sticky. And when I was working with them yesterday, they were not coming off, which is a big peeve of mine, especially when with washi tape and stuff. Okay, one last sticker and then we're done. I know, it's painful, right? Okay, let me get this plastic out of the way. And I usually take my glue stick cap and just kind of press them all down. So I just to reinforce. If they lift, I will go back and stick them down with my glue stick. But they have, like I said, I've done some of these already, so they've stuck on here pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to stop the camera again, and I'm going to go and do a die cut on these. And I'm just using kind of a rectangular shape to die cut. And I will explain that when I come back. But I just want to cut out, I'm not going to bother to do that online with you. But I'm using just a metal die, and it doesn't have to be rectangular. It could be round, it could be oval, it could be a fancier label die cut that you cut out of this, but I'm just cutting something out of the center. So I will be right back. And I'm back. So just in case you asked, this is Crosscuts die. I don't know, I got it a long time ago. It's not even a real Sizzix die, but it works like a Sizzix, and it's just an oval or a rectangular round cornered shape here that I've taken out of the pieces, which is why I wanted to do them in the center. So what it's done is it's given me kind of a, not really an ATC size, but similar. It's actually only, it's about 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. Yeah, about 3 1/2. So it's not quite an ATC size, but it's given me a nice little journaling card that I can work with. And this wouldn't need much decorating, which I'm going to show you. But because I put those mushrooms in the 4 corners, it's left some of the mushrooms and little hints of the other mushrooms on this paper. And this is going to become a frame or a pocket or a window, which we were going to play with. So here's the other one. And you can see I have the mushrooms lined up on there. It looks so cool. And you never know what you're going to get because you put them down, but until you actually cut them out, it doesn't quite give you a full idea. But I have the mushrooms in the corners, and it looks awesome. And so now comes the decorating. Now this one I kind of did a little bit lower, but that's okay. I can fix that up. So for decorating, I really don't want much. Yeah, I'm just going to put a label. Now I'm using, these labels came from Graphics Fairy, yeah. Yeah, I've got one already cut out actually. Oh, that's nice. And, well, I need 2 of them. So I will cut out a second one. Now these were printed onto cardstock, so they've got a little bit of weight to them. So I have a label for the larger frame. And then these labels came from Which Craft Do You Do? Have you guys ever been to their site? If not, I'm going to leave a link to their YouTube channel. They have a lot of fun digitals, and when you buy their digitals, you get a ton of stuff, a ton. And it's all color coordinated. Like this is only a smidgen of the labels, you know, and they come in a multitude of colors and sizes. It's a huge, huge pack. And I will leave you the links to these, as well as to their YouTube channel. Funny story. I often go and watch their videos. They are two sisters, and their mom, and they call her the mother figure, I think, sometimes in her videos. I think her name is actually Anne, and they abuse her in certain ways, but it's fun. It's funny. I think she enjoys it. So you have to go watch their videos. And so I always watch and I comment, not all the time, once in a while. Sometimes I forget, you know, and I wasn't paying attention. And one day I just happened to turn on and I saw that there was a video, a YouTube video. I didn't read what it was, and here it was, one of their draws, and I won the draw. I was very surprised. And so I got to choose some different digitals from them. So it was a really nice surprise, and it was at a time when I was feeling kind of a little bit low. So it was a fun pick me up, and then the fact that I could go and choose some digitals. Now I've also bought some of their digitals, and yeah, I make digitals, but it's always fun to play with someone else's stuff. I mean, then you just print it out and you just go to town and work with it, and it's a lot of fun. But do check out their channel. They have a lot of really great videos and simple projects that you can make. They have lots of freebie images that you can go and download for free off their website. As well, they have some great kits, mega kits that have tons of bits and pieces, and I will show you some of the ones that I did get for my freebies, and as well as some of the ones that I bought as we go along. But do check out their channel. They're quite funny, these girls, and yeah, they give you some very inspirational projects to play with. So I'm just going to quickly ink these up, and it's not going to be perfect because I think my ink is quite juicy, but I do like the darker shades anyway, so I don't mind if it comes through a little bit darker. As you can see, it's coming through darker here, and I want these colors to come through anyway for what I'm going to be using it for. And yes, I could have smooshed them off a little bit first, but like I said, I like the dark color, so I'm not too concerned about that. And inking, of course, is optional. You don't have to ink them, your projects. And I could have used my blending tool as well, but, or this thing. But I do want some brown coloring in here. But this pad is really juicy right now, only because I just refilled it. So I just kind of sneak up using the paper as kind of a to ink off some of the extra ink. And going around the inside, do I do that on? Yeah, I did on the other one. Okay, so coming back to these ones, all I'm going to do is put a little label here. When I go to use them, I will probably put a tab on that is related to the projects that I'm working on. But just taking my glue stick, I'm going to glue this down. Off to the side on this one. And since I've got this one cut out here too, so you see how nicely these blend together. Stuck this to the right to the paper. And now these ones, because they're cardstock, I'm going to use my white glue and just quickly go around the edges on these. And hopefully, oh yep, it's working good. Now this one has the higher top because I hadn't centered, like I have such a large top up here. I hadn't centered the frame, wasn't paying attention, I guess. And so I'm going to sort of go into that a little bit so it's a little less noticeable that it's so large, but I think I don't want to cover the mushrooms. So I think I'm going to go this way. Like that, maybe. So it is flowing off the edge here. It kind of doesn't look straight, does it? Here we go. And so now this one, I think I'm going to have it come across here like this. I don't want it to be right on the, well, I mean, that looks nice too. Maybe I'll go this way. I kind of like them staggered off the side of the page. I'll go like that. And then I still have one more thing to do with these. Now, I could use them as a frame because they have the opening. Sorry, just got to close this glue. I could use them as a frame because they have the opening, and you know, I can add a picture behind here, or you know, create another collage underneath, but I want to use these as window pockets. So I've already cut some acetate, and I've already put some double-sided tape on these because one, to spare you watching me do this, and it just made sense to go a little faster, and because I knew what I was doing with these. So I'm just going to take this tape off, and I'm going to just eyeball it. This is the back side, and press it into place. And I'm going to do the same with this one. So I'm just using that double-sided sequin tape. Sequin. And just eyeballing it again to make sure that the tape doesn't show through. And I just made these a little larger than the opening. And these are now really cute, oh, upside down, really cute little windows that I can use on a page to decorate a page and make a pocket, either a side pocket or a top pocket, or even just a tuck spot by gluing down two sides. And so, yeah, I'm working on my Woodlands journals. And there are 16 of them. And this is one of the pages that's going in the book. This is folded in half to be in the journal. Now, this will be cut open to make two pockets. And cut there and then re-glued. You know, oops, you just fell on your head. Just a sec, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I don't know why my camera does that. Every once in a while it slips out of the little holder. So while I was off the air, I cut these anyway because I don't want to have bulk in the paper. So I trim out a little bit and then glue the two sides down. So this page is just one of the pages that's going to be in my journal. And so here is where I would use a pocket like this or a window like this, where I might put it down in the corner and use it as a top pocket or a tuck spot. Or I can also use it where it fills from the side. Or I can actually put an image underneath it if I want to. And then having the little card that goes with it, I figured that would go on the inside, tucked in somewhere in here as well. But, you know, I haven't got to that stages yet. But I'm just making ephemera for this now. So that is the plan, is to have some ephemera pieces that are in the Woodlands style, as well as decorate further with these little frames. So now this one is originally like that, right? And so then I have this one where I've got the label at the bottom. So you can see why I don't mind that they overhang a little bit. And you can do this with other embellishments. You know, maybe you have a butterfly that can overhang in the window or along the bottom as well. And I can further enhance this by adding more mushrooms on the page, or even butterflies, or something that is Woodlands related, but it gives me a second option here, and then this little card as well. So I've decided that for each journal that I'm making, the 16 journals, I need to make 2 of these, because I will, you know, this will be on opposite sides of the journal, so it's far enough away from each other, and it helps to balance the pages, as well as not necessarily that it will go in these pockets. These might go in other pockets, but I have 2 of them to match to go into the pockets. So yeah, I do have quite the project ahead of me to finish off, and only barely getting started. But let's go back to these original pieces. This is how they started. This is how they've ended. And you can see it's made with junk papers, bits and pieces, nothing in particular, but it's how you just go about finishing them afterwards, and with very minimal supplies. This doesn't have to be done with stickers. It can be done with images that you fussy cut, all kinds of different ways to embellish these. You can embellish them with paint and decorate them even further. So it's entirely up to you how you play and what you have as your materials. But give it a try and try making some. So just to give you an idea, I have done a few in the background when you weren't here. So here is another one here where I've done more of the mushrooms. This one's right on the card, another one off the card. This is a journal card. This is one that I made from that same piece of paper, the glue paper that I took and folded up and covered with a book page. That's what this is. And all I've done is added a few more mushrooms on the back and a few leaves on the front, or on the back as well as on the front, to make the same thing. So there again, made from junky papers. That's my Masterboard techniques for you for today. It's not the only ones that I do. And, you know, when I'm doing something different, I will certainly bring you along for it. But now I got to go back and make 32 of these all together. As you can see, I have, 5 here. So 32 from 5 from 32 is a whole bunch. 27. So I still have 27 more to make. And so yeah, I've got some masterboards made, and away I go to make them. I hope you enjoyed this. I want to say a special thank you to Hazel, Hazel Anaka Designs, for allowing us to collaborate with you and create these masterboards. Do check out all of the other channels that are listed below. Go back and watch the beginning ones, because you are going to learn a ton of techniques for doing different masterboards. And if you get your supplies in order, you can even work on masterboards while you're watching these videos. Why not, right? Then you'll have as many to make as many projects as I have. Thank you, Hazel, again. And thank you to all the other collaborators for the inspiration and for being a part of this March Masterboard Madness. MMB. No, MMBM. Anyway, I wish you all a very creative day and a creative week, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye for now.